They always said I was the lucky one. The one who got to stay home with Mom while everyone else scattered across the country, chasing dreams and dollars. The one who inherited the house without asking for it, without earning it, just because I never left. If only they knew what luck really looked like. I'm standing in our kitchen, my kitchen now, watching the gravy simmer while my phone buzzes with another passive-aggressive text from my sister Claire. Hope you're not overwhelmed with hosting duties, sweetie. I know cooking for 8 isn't your usual Tuesday night. She's flying in from Denver tomorrow with her hedge fund husband and their twin boys who call me Aunt Nobody because they can never remember my name. My brother Marcus texted earlier, can't wait to see the old place. Hope you've kept it up okay. He's driving down from Boston with his wife Jennifer, who once asked me if I'd ever considered doing something with my life. She meant it kindly, I think. The way people mean it kindly when they ask if you've tried just not being poor. The turkey's golden in the oven, the dining room table gleams under Mom's crystal chandelier, and I've spent the last 3 days preparing for a meal that will last 2 hours and leave me cleaning dishes until midnight. Just like every year since Mom died. But this year is different. This year, I know exactly what they think of me. The irony sits in my chest like a stone. Here I am, the family disappointment, the one who never amounted to anything, preparing to host the people who've spent the last 6 months trying to figure out how to get me out of Mom's house. Our house. My house. I found the emails 2 weeks ago. Mom always told me that success wasn't about what others could see. She'd sit at this same kitchen table, hands wrapped around her coffee mug, and say, "Emma, the strongest trees grow in the shadows. They don't need applause to reach the sky." I used to think she was just making me feel better about being ordinary. About working at the county tax assessor's office for 15 years, about never marrying, about living in the same bedroom I had in high school. About being the daughter who stayed. Now I understand she was preparing me for this moment. The moment when I'd have to choose between keeping the peace and telling the truth. My phone rings. Mom's photo still flashes on the screen even though she's been gone 8 months. I never changed it. Claire's voice is bright and false when I answer. "Emma. Just landed. Brad's getting the rental car. We should be there in an hour. I hope you didn't go overboard with the cooking. You know how you get. How I get. As if taking care of our family is some kind of character flaw. Everything's ready," I say, stirring the gravy with my free hand. "Drive safe." "Oh, and Emma?" "I brought some wine." "Good wine." I figured. She trails off, but I know what she means. She figured I'd buy the cheap stuff, because that's what Emma does. Emma, who counts every dollar, who shops sales, who still uses coupons like some kind of relic from the past. After she hangs up, I walk through the house Mom left me. Every room holds her presence like perfume and fabric. The living room where she taught me to balance checkbooks when I was 12. The study where she kept her investment portfolios and files I wasn't supposed to understand. The basement workshop where she restored furniture and taught me that broken things could be made beautiful again with patience and the right tools. This house is worth $850,000 in today's market. I had it appraised 3 months ago, right after I found the first email. The email thread was titled Mom's House Situation, and it started with Claire writing to Marcus, "We need to talk about Emma. She can't afford the upkeep on that place, and honestly, it's selfish of her to hold on to it when we could all benefit from the sale. She's barely making ends meet on her little government salary." Marcus replied, "Agreed. The property taxes alone must be crushing her. We should approach this as helping her out. Maybe suggest she could rent a nice apartment closer to town, something more suitable for a single woman her age." Jennifer chimed in, "I've been looking at comparable sales in that neighborhood. We could easily get $800K, maybe more. Split 3 ways, that's a nice nest egg for everyone. Emma included." Claire's response made my hands shake, "Exactly. She'll thank us later." She's just too proud to ask for help right now. You know how she is about accepting charity. Charity. They think helping me sell my own house would be charity. The emails continued for weeks. Planning how to approach me. Discussing my finances like I was a child who couldn't manage her own life. Debating whether to bring it up during Thanksgiving or wait until Christmas. She might be more receptive during the holidays, Claire wrote. More emotional, more likely to see reason. More emotional. More likely to see reason. As if grief had made me stupid instead of stronger. I never told them about Mom's other gift. The one she hid in plain sight for 20 years. The doorbell rings at 4:30. Through the peephole, I see Claire's artificially brightened smile and Brad's impatient expression. The twins are already running across my front lawn, leaving muddy footprints on the grass Mom and I planted together last spring. Emma. Claire sweeps me into a hug that smells like expensive perfume and condescension. Look at you. You look tired. Are you sleeping okay? I know grief can be so hard on the complexion. Brad nods at me like I'm hired help. House looks good, Emma. You keeping up with the maintenance okay? Before I can answer, Marcus's SUV pulls into the driveway. My brother emerges with his usual confident stride, followed by Jennifer, who's already scanning my front porch with the eye of someone calculating real estate value. Emma. Marcus hugs me, and for a moment, he feels like the brother who used to build blanket forts with me. Then he pulls back and I see the assessment in his eyes. How are you holding up? Really? I'm fine, I say, leading them all inside. Dinner's almost ready. Jennifer makes approving noises about Mom's decorating, though she keeps glancing at the older furniture, the pieces that would need to be updated in her world. Claire's boys immediately start running through the house, their voices echoing off walls that remember quieter children. Wine. I offer, pulling out glasses. Oh, let me, Claire says, producing a bottle that probably cost more than I spend on groceries in a week. This is a 2019 Bordeaux. Brad brought it back from his last business trip to France. She says it like I wouldn't know good wine if it bit me. I pour the wine and serve the appetizers I spent hours preparing. They eat and compliment and make small talk about their flights, their work, their children's accomplishments. I listen and nod and play the role they expect, grateful little sister, overwhelmed by hosting duties, probably in over her head financially. So Emma, Jennifer says, accepting her second glass of wine, how are you managing? With the house, I mean. It must be expensive to maintain a place this size on your own. Here it comes. I manage fine, I say. Of course you do, Claire jumps in quickly. But it must be lonely sometimes. And the property taxes on a place like this. She makes a vague gesture. Well, they can't be cheap. Marcus leans forward. We've been thinking, Em. You know we're here for you, right? If you ever needed help, or wanted to explore options. Options? Well, you know. He glances at Claire, who nods encouragingly. This house is beautiful, but it's a lot for one person. You might be happier somewhere smaller, somewhere without so many memories. Brad joins the conversation. The market's really strong right now. Historic highs in this area. It might be smart to capitalize on that while you can. They're doing exactly what their emails said they would do. Approaching it as helping me. Making it seem like selling Mom's house my house would be for my own good. I'm not interested in selling, I say quietly. Of course not, Jennifer says soothingly. We're not suggesting you have to decide anything right now. But it's worth considering. You could take your share and really start fresh. Maybe travel, or go back to school, or what? I ask. Find myself? Discover my potential? Finally make something of my life? The silence stretches across the room like a held breath. Emma, Claire says carefully, we didn't mean it like that. But they did mean it like that. Exactly like that. Dinner's ready, I announce, standing up. Let's eat. The dining room looks perfect. Mom's china gleams under the chandelier, the turkey is golden brown, the side dishes are arranged like a magazine spread. I've set the table the way Mom taught me, with the good silver and cloth napkins and place cards written in careful script. They ooh and ah appropriately, but I can feel their impatience underneath the politeness. They want to get back to the real conversation. The one about my future and their plans for it. This is incredible, Emma, Marcus says, carving the turkey. You really outdid yourself. Mom's recipes, I say. She taught me everything. She was a wonderful cook, Claire agrees. Remember her apple pie? I've tried to recreate it for years, but I can never get the crust right. You need to use butter, not shortening, I say. And keep everything cold. I should write that down. You're so lucky you got to spend all that time with her. Learning her secrets. Lucky. There's that word again. Brad starts talking about his latest acquisition, some tech startup that's going to revolutionize something. Jennifer discusses the twins' private school applications. Marcus mentions his promotion, the bigger office, the business trips to Europe. I listen to them talk about their successes, their achievements, their important lives. They don't ask about my work, my interests, my thoughts on anything. They don't ask because they already know what I am, the daughter who stayed home, who never amounted to much, who's probably struggling to keep her head above water. Emma, Claire says during dessert, I've been thinking about what we discussed earlier. About options. Here we go. I wasn't discussing anything, I say. You were talking. I was listening. Right, of course. But the thing is, we worry about you. Rattling around in this big house all alone. It's not healthy. Marcus nods. And financially, it's got to be tough. The heating bills alone. Not to mention maintenance, Brad adds. Old houses like this, they're money pits. Always something breaking down. They're tag-teaming me. Just like they planned. What exactly are you suggesting? I ask. Claire leans forward, her voice gentle and patronizing. We think you should consider selling. This house is worth a fortune, Emma. You could take your share and buy something smaller, something manageable. Maybe a nice condo downtown. You'd be closer to work, closer to people your own age. People my own age? You know what I mean. You're 38, Emma. You should be living your life, not hiding away in Mom's house like some kind of what? She doesn't finish the sentence, but I can see the word in her eyes. Spinster. Old maid. The unmarried daughter who becomes the family burden. Look, Marcus says, we've done some research. The house could easily sell for $800,000, maybe more. Split 3 ways, that's serious money for all of us. For all of us? Well, yes. Equal shares. That's only fair. I set down my fork carefully. Equal shares of my house. It was Mom's house, Claire corrects. And she left it to all of us. No, I say quietly. She left it to me. The room goes silent except for the twins arguing in the living room about some video game. Technically, yes, Jennifer says, clearly uncomfortable. But I think what Claire means is that morally, as a family. Morally? Marcus shifts in his seat. Emma, come on. You know Mom didn't mean to exclude us. She just figured you'd do the right thing. The right thing. Yes. Share with your family. She knew you'd understand that we all have claim to this place. We all grew up here. I start to laugh. I can't help it. The sound bubbles up from somewhere deep and bitter, and once it starts, I can't stop it. Emma? Claire's voice is sharp with concern. Are you okay? I'm laughing so hard I'm crying. Or maybe I'm crying so hard I'm laughing. 20 years of being underestimated, of being dismissed, of being treated like the family failure, and they think I don't understand what's fair. Emma. Marcus's voice carries the authority he uses with his subordinates. Get it together. That sobers me up fast. Get it together? You're being dramatic. We're trying to help you, and you're acting like we're the bad guys. I wipe my eyes with Mom's cloth napkin and look around the table at their faces. Concerned. Impatient. Slightly embarrassed by my outburst. You want to help me? Of course we do, Claire says. You're our sister. Your sister who needs to get it together. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? Marcus sighs. Look, Em, we know this is emotional for you. But you have to be practical. You can't afford this place on your own. You can't possibly know what I can and can't afford. Emma, Jennifer says gently, we're not judging you. But you work for the county. We know what those jobs pay. They know what those jobs pay. Do you? It's public record, Brad says. Government salaries are published online. You make, what, $45,000 a year? $45,000 a year. That's what they think I make. That's what they've based their entire assessment of my life on. A number on a website that doesn't tell the whole story. And that's fine, Claire rushes to add. There's nothing wrong with public service. But it's not exactly house in this neighborhood money. House in this neighborhood money. I stand up slowly. Excuse me for a minute. I walk to Mom's study, the room where she kept her secrets. The room where she taught me that sometimes the most important things are hidden in plain sight. I open the filing cabinet, pull out the folder I've been carrying like a talisman for 6 months, and walk back to the dining room. They're whispering when I return, probably debating whether I'm having some kind of breakdown. Whether they need to call someone. Whether this proves their point about me not being able to handle things on my own. I sit down and place the folder on the table. What's that? Marcus asks. Remember how Mom used to disappear for hours every day? How she'd sit in her study with her computer and her files, and we never knew what she was doing. They nod uncertainly. She was teaching me. Every day for 20 years, from the time I was 18 until the day she died. She was teaching me about investments, about real estate, about building wealth quietly. I opened the folder and spread the papers across Mom's good china. She started me with $1,000 when I graduated high school. Showed me how to research companies, how to read financial statements, how to spot undervalued properties. Every month, I invested my little government salary. Every month, she helped me make decisions. Claire picks up one of the statements, her face confused. Emma, what is this? That's my Schwab account. Current balance, $847,000. The silence is deafening. This is my real estate portfolio. For rental properties in the downtown corridor. Purchased between 2015 and 2020, all cash. Current value, $1.2 million. Net rental income, $6,800 per month. Jennifer's mouth is open. Brad is staring at the papers like they're written in a foreign language. And this, I say, pulling out the final document, is the deed to this house. Which Mom quit-claimed to me 3 years ago. Legally, officially, completely mine. Marcus grabs the deed, scanning it with lawyer eyes. This can't be right. It's right. Mom knew she was sick long before she told any of you. She wanted to make sure the house stayed in the family. With someone who would take care of it. But you work for the county, Claire stammers. I do. I love my job. I help people navigate property taxes, exemptions, assessments. I'm good at it. But it was never my only source of income. The twins run into the dining room, chasing each other around the table. Jennifer grabs one automatically, not taking her eyes off the financial statements. This says you have almost $2 million, she whispers. Plus the house, I say. Plus my pension, which is actually quite good after 15 years of service. Brad clears his throat. Emma, I don't understand. If you have this kind of money, why do you live like? Like what? Like someone who? He gestures vaguely at my simple sweater, my drugstore makeup, my practical shoes. Like someone who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone? Claire is still staring at the Schwab statement. Why didn't you tell us? Tell you what? That I'm not the family failure you thought I was? That I don't need to be rescued from my pathetic life? That's not what we thought. Isn't it? I pull out my phone and open my email. Start reading from their thread. She's barely making ends meet on her little government salary. Claire goes pale. The property taxes alone must be crushing her. Marcus won't meet my eyes. Something more suitable for a single woman her age. Jennifer looks like she wants to disappear under the table. She's just too proud to accept charity. I set the phone down. Charity. Emma, Marcus says quietly, how did you get our emails? Mom taught me about technology too. When she got sick, she asked me to help her organize her digital life. Passwords, accounts, files. She wanted everything clean for whoever had to handle her affairs. I smile. She made me the executor of her estate, by the way. And the beneficiary of her life insurance. Another $500,000. The room is so quiet I can hear the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway. So let me understand this correctly, I continue. You want me to sell my house, that I own free and clear, so that I can give you 2/3 of the proceeds from the sale of an asset that belongs entirely to me. Because you're worried about my finances. Emma, we didn't know. You didn't know because you never asked. In 15 years, has anyone in this family ever asked me how I was doing financially? Really asked, not just assumed? They don't answer because we all know the truth. You saw what you expected to see. The spinster daughter who stayed home. The woman who never amounted to anything. The one who needed to be taken care of. Claire's crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. We love you, Emma. We were trying to help. No, you weren't. You were trying to help yourselves. I gather the papers back into the folder. The twins have gotten bored and wandered back to their video game. The adults sit in stunned silence around Mom's dining room table. I know about Brad's gambling debts, I say quietly. Private investigators are surprisingly affordable when you know how to hire them. Brad goes white. I know about Marcus's second mortgage. The one Jennifer doesn't know about. Marcus stares at me in shock. And I know about Claire's credit cards. $37,000 and counting. Claire makes a small, broken sound. Mom taught me that information is power. She also taught me that family protects family, even when family doesn't deserve it. So I haven't said anything about any of this. Yet. I stand up again, smoothing down my simple sweater. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to finish your dessert. You're going to help me clean the dishes. You're going to spend the night in the guest rooms I prepared for you, because that's what family does. And tomorrow, you're going to go back to your lives and never mention selling this house again. Emma. I'm not finished. My voice is calm, steady. Mom's voice. If anyone has financial troubles they need help with, you can ask me. Actually ask, not hint around or scheme or manipulate. Ask like adults asking another adult for help. They're all staring at me like I'm a stranger. Maybe I am. But understand this, I am not your backup plan. I am not your safety net. I am not the family member you turn to when your real plans fall through. I pick up the wine bottle, Mom's good wine that Claire brought to impress me with her sophistication. I am the daughter who stayed. The one who took care of Mom when she was dying. The one who held her hand and made her promises about this house, this family, this legacy she built. I pour myself another glass, my hand perfectly steady. I kept those promises. All of them. The silence stretches until Marcus finally speaks. What promises? That I'd take care of the house. That I'd keep the family together, even when the family didn't deserve it. That I'd be successful, but not the kind of success that needs applause. I take a sip of the wine. It's good, but not as good as the bottle I have in my cellar, the one I bought when my portfolio first hit $1 million. And that I'd know when it was time to stop being the family doormat. Claire is openly sobbing now. Jennifer has her arm around her, but she's staring at me with something that might be respect, or might be fear. Emma, Marcus says, I'm sorry. We were wrong. Completely wrong. Yes, you were. Can you forgive us? I consider this question while I finish my wine. Can I forgive them? Do I want to? I can forgive you, I say finally. But I can't forget. And I won't pretend this didn't happen. Brad clears his throat. What does that mean? It means things are different now. You know who I really am, and I know who you really are. We can work with that, or we can't. But we're done pretending. I start clearing the dessert plates, stacking them efficiently. The familiar rhythm of cleaning up after family dinner, but everything has changed. Emma, let us help, Jennifer says, standing up. Thank you. We work in silence, carrying dishes to the kitchen, wrapping leftovers, loading the dishwasher. The twins have fallen asleep on the living room couch, exhausted from their travel day. Brad carries them upstairs to the guest room without being asked. When the kitchen is clean, we stand around awkwardly, not sure how to end this evening. I have something else to tell you, I say. They all look at me warily, probably wondering what other secrets I'm hiding. I'm thinking about taking early retirement. Maybe traveling. I've never been to Europe. Claire wipes her eyes. That sounds wonderful. I'd like to take Mom's ashes to Ireland. She always talked about going back to see where her grandmother came from. She'd love that, Marcus says. I'll need someone to check on the house while I'm gone. Water the plants, collect the mail. That sort of thing. They nod eagerly, desperate to find some way to be useful, to be included. It's a big responsibility, I continue. This house has been in our family for 60 years. It needs someone who understands what it means. We understand, Claire says quickly. We do now. Good. I hang up the dish towel, the same one Mom used for 30 years. Because I'm leaving it to all of you when I die. Equal shares. Their faces cycle through confusion, hope, guilt. But that's years away, I add. Decades, if I'm lucky. And until then, it's mine. They nod, chastened children accepting the rules from the adult in the room. Now, I say, who wants to see Mom's photo albums? I found them in the attic last week. We spend the next 2 hours on the living room floor, looking through pictures of our childhood. Our parents' wedding. Christmases and birthdays and ordinary Tuesday afternoons that Mom thought were worth preserving. Look at you, Claire says, pointing to a photo of me at 7, gap-toothed and grinning. You were always so serious, even then. I was thinking, I correct her. Mom said I was always thinking. What were you thinking about? I study the photo. That little girl with her intense stare and her hands folded in her lap. She already knew she was different from her siblings. Already understood that she saw things they didn't see. Everything, I say. I was thinking about everything. When they finally go to bed, I sit alone in Mom's kitchen, drinking tea from her favorite mug. The house settles around me with familiar creaks and sighs. This house that chose me as much as I chose it. This house that kept its secrets until I was ready to hear them. I think about Mom's lessons, not just about money but about power. Real power, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself. The kind that grows quietly in the shadows until it's strong enough to stand in the light. Tomorrow, my siblings will leave. They'll drive back to their lives with a new understanding of who I am, who I've always been. They'll tell their spouses, their friends, maybe their children someday. The story of how they underestimated their sister, how she let them believe what they wanted to believe until the moment she chose not to. But tonight, I'm alone with the truth. I am not the family failure. I am not the daughter who settled. I am not the woman who needed to be rescued. I am the one who stayed. The one who learned. The one who chose a different kind of success. I am the keeper of secrets, the protector of legacy, the daughter who understood what really mattered. I am exactly who Mom raised me to be. The grandfather clock chimes midnight, and I realize something that makes me smile. Today is Black Friday, the day everyone fights over bargains and deals, desperate to get more for less. But I've spent my whole life getting more for less. Building wealth quietly, living below my means, investing in tomorrow while everyone else spent on today. Mom would appreciate the irony. I rinse my mug and turn off the lights, leaving the kitchen exactly as Mom would have wanted it. Clean, organized, ready for tomorrow. Upstairs, I can hear my family sleeping in rooms I prepared for them. Despite everything, they're still my family. Flawed, selfish, human family who love me in their imperfect way. Tomorrow we'll eat leftover turkey and pretend today never happened. Or maybe we won't pretend. Maybe we'll start over, building something new from the ruins of old assumptions. Either way, I'll be fine. I've always been fine. But now, finally, they know it too. In my bedroom, Mom's bedroom now, I change into pajamas and brush my teeth at the vanity where she taught me to see myself clearly. Not the way others saw me, but the way I really was. The woman in the mirror is 38 years old, financially independent, and completely free to write her own story. She has choices now, possibilities that extend far beyond this house, this town, this role she played for so long. But she also has roots. Deep ones, planted in love and watered with wisdom. She'll travel the world, but she'll always come home. She'll take risks, but she'll never forget the lessons learned at this kitchen table. She'll live boldly, but quietly, in the way Mom taught her. The way the strongest trees grow. I turn off the light and settle into bed, surrounded by the darkness that no longer feels empty. Tomorrow is full of possibility, but tonight is perfect exactly as it is. Silent. Peaceful. Mine. Have you ever been underestimated by the people who should know you best? Share your story in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe.